Hi there, it's Kareem from Keeper's Nursery. Today's the 3rd of November 2024 and I'm making a video about, let's see what they are. Russets! Hooray, finally. So today, it's been a pretty grey old day. Very autumnal, although it's still very warm. I've picked lots of russets, so there's just over 50 here. Now, what are russets? They're these brown apples, and they are fantastic. Like like with people, the brown ones are the good ones. No, don't comment about that. No, these brown apples, which some of you will be very familiar with, some of you won't. If I go closer, you'll see the brownness. I'm sure some of you have handled these, but they are kind of potatoey. The russeting is this brownness, and it's a sort of skin condition, as it were. You can see on some of these, you get sort of more than just the brownness. You get sort of lumpiness to it as well. Now, most of these varieties will have the word russet in, but not all of them. Some of these apples are not sort of exclusively known as russets, but I've picked them anyway because they have russeting on them. Usually some apples will have a level of russeting in the cavity, but not really so much elsewhere. That's very common. I mean, even something like a margil here has got russeting in the cavity, but you still wouldn't really call it a russet. But I thought it would be interesting for this video. So there are some sort of red ones. Don't be alarmed. It is quite tricky for me to identify the russets because a lot of these apples haven't got, you know, the characteristic red streaks on, or they're just complete russets. So I will be looking back and forth to a list, the second list that I've done of actually a plan of what all these apples are, because it is a little bit less obvious what each apple is. But like in all my videos, I'll sort of try these and I'll sort of tell you a little bit about them. Basically, the russeting, where the although it, you know, changes the appearance of the apple, I've found that most of these apples are actually extremely nice apples. You don't get very many dull russets. Russets tend to have a lot of they have a lot of flavor. They're usually very sweet. They're sort of improvements on, if you have a russeting sport, it tends to be an improvement on the original sport because it just adds more flavor and sugar and depth of flavor. They're very high in sugar. I've tested the sugar content of russets, and they're amongst the highest of the apples that I've tested so far. So I really like russets. It's up to you if you like the appearance of them. I can't tell you if, you know, obviously a very, very sort of pretty red apple is going to be more appealing to people, but you should try and grow russets, especially if you're doing this for your own in your own garden. You won't be able to buy many of these in the shop, so it's a great thing to have. And generally speaking, now looking at all of these, there's not many blemishes on any of these. I mean, okay, fine, some of them have been pecked by birds, but we are in November now, so they do go for these on the tree, but they don't tend to get sort of as many scab problems. So they are quite healthy, robust apples. So some of these are windfills, so they're not going to be the best in the best shape. They're going to be a bit soft as well. They're not necessarily the juiciest apples, the crispest apples, but they make up for it in flavour, believe me. So let's crack on with the old routine. Don't want these to go out of where they have been. So this apple here is Shenandoah. Thank you, camera. It's not strictly a russet, but you can see the russeting on the skin. It is a very nice apple as well, and I attribute some of that to the rusting. If it was a completely glossy apple, I don't think it would taste as nice. I do think there is a lot of shared characteristics between how an apple looks, to me anyway, and how it tastes. I don't think that's a coincidence, but it might just be the parentage. Some apples have got some parentage which have russeting in, and then they also pass on the nice flavors, so they go hand in hand, as it were. Let's try some of these apples. So this is Shenandoah, and oops, still recording. So this is a very, very good apple. It's fantastically sweet. That is actually one of my favourite apples. It keeps for a long time on the tree. I would say you should grow that apple if you can. Not strictly a russet, but for the sake it is. Next one is Orléans Reinette. This is an older apple, but Reinette, lots of the Reinettes are russets as well. Because as you can imagine, in European countries they don't really say the word russets, and lots of the apples that are russets they'll actually call Reinette, so you can look out for that as well. But obviously I don't think all Reinettes are russets, but that's that some of the russets are Reinettes. So this is an extraordinary flavour to it. It is still quite, I wouldn't say it's overly juicy. Russets aren't very juicy usually. It has a sort of pineapple flavour to it. Has got some acidity to it, but the sweetness is stronger. That is an amazing apple. Orléans Reinette, I know for a fact is a good apple. I've always known it's a good apple, but that is delicious. Yeah, this one here is New Rock Pippin. I don't know so much about this one. It's got a lot of green underneath the rusting, which I don't necessarily trust so much, but we'll see. Wow. So again, that has an extraordinary element of fruity flavour. I have to say this New York Pippin tastes a lot like a very jazzed up Granny Smith. It's like you had a Granny Smith and you really sort of added layers of, again I'm going to say pineapple, but that's a very pleasant apple, but you can taste the sort of Granny Smith background flavour to it. Again, it is relatively juicy as well, which is unusual for a russet, but that, I said earlier, russets don't usually disappoint. They are usually quite nice. I thought this apple wasn't going to be very good. It may be down to the rusting that it actually tastes very good. Sorry, I'll flip the camera around a little bit so we know where we are. This one here is Autumn Pearmain. So this is one of these, I wish the camera would focus. Come on, camera. There we go, I think it's going to focus. So this is Autumn Pearmain. This is one of these ones which looks like it has a bad skin condition. I've not tried one of these before actually, or at least I don't remember trying one. I probably have in one of these videos, but you tell me, I don't watch them back so much. This again, let's see. Right, it's soft, but again, a lovely flavour. It's a little bit light on the acidity, so the flavour doesn't, so it's not strong enough. Yeah, it's an extraordinary nice flavour. It is. All of these so far haven't been sickly sweet in a way, but they've all been pleasantly sweet in the end. I don't quite know how to describe that. That is, again, it's all unusual but nice. I like that. That's Autumn Pearmain. Next one here is Mannington Pearmain. Again, you know, you get some of this, which some people might not like the look of, kind of blotchy, but it's usually a sign to me that's a good apple. So Mannington Pearmain. Again, soft. Now this one has the classic nuttiness to it. Oh, I scratched myself. It's sort of soft, not very juicy, so some people won't like that, but it has a nuttiness to it, which very much like an Egremont Russet, this apple. That was Mannington Pearmain. I like it. I'm not going to eat more because I've got 50 apples to eat. I'm having roast chicken for dinner. Next one along. Now this is quite famous apple in England. It's Knobby Russet. So this is probably the most extreme version of what sort of rusting does, and I don't think it's actually a very nice apple. I did try it last year, but I can't quite remember. It does have yellow patches as well, so I'll try the yellow bit. It's extremely fruity again. It's more acidic. I tried this a few weeks ago and it was just more acidic, but lovely sort of phenol flavors in sort of pear dropsy background flavors. If you like acidic ones, this will be good. Again, texture's not, you know, what modern standards are, but gosh, that skin. Let me try the weird skin bit. Very similar. Again, it's quite dry. Still a good apple, not just a novelty, I don't think. Next one along, this is Zabagal Reinette. Sorry, this is a windfall, so it looks a bit worse for wear, but there weren't many fruits, and this one was best one on the ground, basically. Oh, it's completely yellow skin. I think this is just past its best because it is going too sweet. It's lost its acidity. Yeah. It's a nice apple, but it's got a bit too sweet. But again, good flavours in there. Sorry, there's not a lot of information in this video. It's just me saying these are good flavours. This is Merton Russet. Again, I think this one's more of an acidic one. This is lovely. It's acidic. This wouldn't surprise me if it's very high sugar as well because it's acidic, but it is also sweet. And it has a lovely pear drops flavour to it. That is an extraordinary apple, Merton Russet. I'll say it again, these russets do not disappoint. If you actually like the depth of flavour in an apple, you know, if you like a Cox's Orange Pippin, but, you know, you don't care if the apple, well, you like the golden colour as well. These are extraordinary. They're not going to have the crispy juiciness and the what you expect with modern apples, but these are probably, on average, the best class of apples. In terms of if you class apples in sort of red and green, and these are better than reds, and yeah, no one likes green apples anyway. This is Pitmaston Nonpareil. I'm not sure about this apple. I've tried it before, but it's never sort of stood out as an amazing one. The last one was nicer. This one is still quite good. Kind of a bit soft now. The skin is very, very sort of tough in a weird way, like you have to chew it, but there are better ones than this, better ones so far. I definitely say Merton Russet was very good. Next one along is Egremont Russet. So this was a windfall as well, I think. Yeah, mud, that gives it away. Don't get mud on trees, do you? It's got a bit of red. I always like when they've got red underneath. You can see the red striping underneath, but it's hidden behind russeting. Yeah, very nice. It's hard to describe these apples. It has got tough skin. It's almost like beyond the skin. If you peeled this, it would probably be quite nice because the skin is a bit boring. But below the skin, it's extremely juicy, actually. Slight tannin flavour, so it's slightly bitter. Probably that's the skin, actually, again. But very sweet and fragrant underneath. That was Egremont Russet. I like that. Ananas Reinette. So this is Ananas Reinette, and there's also Pitmaston Pineapple. So named after pineapples. I wonder what these taste like. Now, Pitmaston Pineapple is better than Ananas Reinette, in my opinion, but we'll try this. Yeah, this is much sharper than a Pitmaston Pine, but very nice. This is like one of those slightly unripe pineapples that's still a bit sharp, but you can taste the pineapple. And I have to say, it looks very good. It looks better than a Pitmaston Pineapple, and it hangs later. Pitmaston Pineapple will be soft right now. I could try that now, actually. So this is Pitmaston Pineapple. That's a very, very sweet pineapple. Very sweet. It is nice, sort of mid-October time, this apple, but this one's still going strong. It's losing a bit of its flavour. It's nice when it's acidic, somewhere in between. So this earlier is nicer. That one now is quite good, actually, the Ananas Reinette. Next one along is Lynn's Pippin. So this is sort of borderline not a russet, but you can see these patches of russet on it. That's why I picked it today. Although maybe it was a wind. No, it wasn't a windfall, but it is very ripe. So that definitely has a different flavour because it's not really a russet, but still sweet. A little bit past its best because it's lost its acidity now. We've not had any cold weather in England. Oh no, I tell a lie. We've never had cold weather in England. No, we've not had. Since the summer, we had maybe 2 or 3 nights in late September that were cold, and then October's been boiling hot actually. So we've been in the teens most days. Rarely below sort of 7 or 8 at night here. Usually above 10. So, but yeah, this is losing its acidity, and therefore its sort of flavour profile's gone down the pan. But it is a good apple, this Linz pippin. I do pick them occasionally. They're very pretty because it's got a tiny bit of rusting. So this next one along is Nolan pippin. I don't rave about this apple much. I do walk past it. It is just a pure russet, as you can see. We'll see it. Maybe an acidic one. Yeah, pretty blank flavour to it. Slightly acidic. It is juicy. Tastes a bit like a Spartan or something. Not a great apple. Oh, I forgot to check this. I think this was Belle de Boscov. It's another windfall. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but yeah, there weren't many of these on the under the tree. It's a big old lump. This very yellow flesh. No, it's very soft. It's got that nuttiness, but slight acidity again. Doesn't punch through. The flavour doesn't last. You have to it sort of disintegrates in your mouth and doesn't go anywhere. But lovely big apple, that Belle de Boscop. Next one along, this is far. This probably isn't ready yet, but this is a lovely late season russet. It keeps very, very late on the tree, so even in sort of Christmas time you can pick this on the tree. There's a lovely flavour, very welcoming, sort of delayed sweet perfumed flavour. These are all extremely nice apples. Maybe not Nolan pippin, but yeah, that's nice. That has got a lovely, yeah, it's sort of late sweet juice that comes out of it and goes down your throat. That is really nice far. I don't usually pick them at this time of the year. They're actually much nicer at this time of the year at Christmas, but because it's the only apple at Christmas, I pick them at Christmas time or in like sort of December when I'm working outside. At this time of the year, I'd usually leave these alone so that I can have them at Christmas. So maybe I'll change what I do with that. So next one along, this is Lodgemore Nonpareil. So Nonpareils are, this is the Nonpareil, and then this is like Ross Nonpareil, and this is Lodgemore Nonpareil, and I think there's a few other Nonpareils. It's French, it means it's without parallel, I guess, so it's above the rest. Are they all above the rest? Let's see. Oh, initially it's got a huge burst of juice and then it kind of falls flat, but it's pleasant. It's a pleasant juice. It tastes like pear. Maybe if it was a bit more, because now it's just chewing. We're just chewing the skin and not getting any more juice. I would say that there are apples that compare. You know, it is without. It is. There are better apples, and here is one of them. Sorry, fumbling around trying to get that. This is Herefordshire Russet. Now this apple is a very nice apple. This was the last one on the tree. I hope it is still ripe because I do rave about this apple a few times. It's got a very high sugar content, sort of above 15, almost 16% bricks. It's gone soft, but it's still very sweet, and it's still got the acidity as well. Very nice, very flavoursome. It's gone a bit too soft, but this is usually a crisp apple, so if you pick this in sort of mid-October, it's very good. dinky little guy. This is an extraordinary apple, and a lot of my videos last year I talked about this. This is Golden Knob, and it is a little dynamo, this thing. Wow, my fingers look awful. Anyway, yeah, it's quite a dry apple, but very, very sweet. I imagine so. It'd be quite hard to get the juice actually to measure the bricks. Very sweet, but full of flavour, and it's punching with a bit of tang. As soon as you can chew it a bit and get the juice out, it's extraordinary. I love this apple. It doesn't disappoint. It is nutty, so it's got the nutty elements of an Egremont Russet, but it's also got sort of a bite to it, and then it's got all the extra sort of levels of flavour we get with some russets. I love Golden Knob. I think this will be an apple that I produce more of, along with a few others like Merton Russet, Herefordshire Russet, as in I will grow more of these trees, propagate more so people can grow them. Oh wow, so these are these new ones that I've not tried, as in they're not new, they're just varieties that I recently got budwood from Brogdale, or like 4 or 5 years ago. This one is President Boudewijn. It might be Dutch. It's got a bit of rusting on, let me see. Ooh. I don't think I've tried this before. That is weird. That tastes like sweets. It's very sweet. Maybe too sweet. That is unusual. It tastes like port. Yeah, it tastes like tawny port. Wow. I'm gonna have to try this again next year, but that is an unusual apple. President Boudewijn. It tastes very much like tawny port. Oh gosh, this was the one I had to. This is Tiroler Spitzer something. I will write this one down. Sorry, I'm assuming Holland. I can't read my own handwriting. That's awful. Yeah, I shouldn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not ripe. It's just sour and a bit bitter. This isn't really a russet either. This is Reinette Bruck Bucks. Something like that. Again. Oh, I can't read and write very well, apparently. It's more I can't write very well and I can't read my bad handwriting. I can read and I can write. Well, I can't write well. Anyway. Tastes like a creme caramel, this. It has gone soft. Can't really say much more about it, unfortunately. This one was pretty good. This was Nutmeg Pippin, off the floor. But I've tried some earlier. It's a sort of scrappy looking mongrel apple, but let's see if it's still good. Very good still. Initially nothing because the juice doesn't come out. And chew it, you get all that hit of acidity, but you know it's very sweet as well, and it's got a nice flavour, but it's not offensively strong either. That's very good. Nutmeg Pippin. Oh gosh, we're not even halfway through. Okay, this one is Patte de loup, so that's pate, which I'm not sure exactly what that is in French, but de loup means wolf. I think this is the one that's supposed to have the wolf scratch marks on. So these can sometimes look like big scratches, as if a wolf has sort of scratched your apple, because that's what the French farmer thought when he saw it. That's really good. It's crisp and it's juicy and it's full of flavour. I think my mind's saying, could it be slightly more juicier, and that would be almost perfect. That's really good. I've not had one of these this good before. Where it's gone golden, not the boring brown bit. The gold bit's good. Okay, the wolf apple. Good. This is Brownlees Russet. This is Oh goodness. This is Brownlees Russet, and this is a very good apple. This is a bit of a weird looking one, but I don't think there were many left on the tree actually. Now this tastes like sweets. This tastes like which sweet is that? Sort of like not cherry. It's one of the sweet like gummy bears or something. This tastes amazing. Yeah, I think if you're into cherry Haribos, this tastes like cherry Haribos, which it's the artificial cherry flavour. It's very nice. Oh, it's one that I can't really read very well. This is D'Or de Tournai, which I think is Belgian. I remember from the label. Quite pleased with myself remembering that. It's got a bit of russet. I don't think this is going to be very good. This doesn't strike me as an apple. It's going to be extraordinary. It's really soft. Hard to judge because it's too soft. It's acidic. Maybe it was quite good before, but it's really soft. Sorry. Okay. This is the king. He was right in the middle there. Hiding in the middle, hiding in plain sight. This is Norfolk Royal Russet. This is probably one of my favourite apples in the nursery. Out of all of those trees, I always go to this one. There aren't many left. I've already eaten one of them today, so I'm going to eat the other one. Now you can see all that extraordinary colour underneath the russet. It's fascinating, and every one of these apples will look completely different and unique. It's like art. So it's really good. It's sweet. It has a level of crispiness, but it's also nice and soft. It's not too dense. I just really like it. It's just perfectly balanced in my opinion. So perfumed. It's like eating a big pear. It's juicy. Never disappoints. It's just a tricky tree to grow for some reason, but I love this apple. I'm going to finish this one later. Okay, we've got some seedlings. Oh, that's terrible camera work. It's a seedling 48. So I did think this one had some potential at some stage. I can't remember much about it, so let's see. It is a sort of strange looking russet. I imagine it's going to be sweet, because at that stage a few years ago I was interested in the sweet ones. It's extremely sweet. It's past its best. Hard to judge it right now. Let's not be... Oh, go back. Let's not be too critical. This is 27. This is a very nice apple. This one actually usually ripe sort of mid-November, so I'm just going to try the riper side. Very, very nice russet. So again, texture's a bit sort of... Oh, it's not crisp. It's still got bite to it, but it's gotten a very, very nice flavour. Very pineapple-y. Sweet but not too sweet, with a slight bit of acidity. That is a really, really nice russet. This is number 27. I will definitely be naming this at some stage because this is really nice. It sort of adds to all the other russets, I think, as a late season russet. This is 24. So this has russeting on one side and then no russeting really on the apex. Yeah, my mother-in-law's painting this, so I'm going to have a painting of this apple at some stage. Very nice painting. Now this is a Kids Orange Red seedling, and that has got a beautiful Kids Orange Red flavour. And more consistent than Kids Orange Red flavour, it gets the lovely pear drops flavour to it. This is a terrible wonky bite as well. This apple is really good. I think this apple is going to be one that will be named, and I will be propagating this for years to come. I think it's quirky, it's fun, very pretty as well in my opinion, because it's got lovely colours and stripes. I like that, and it's a nice late season apple as well. Who are you? This is Horsham Russet. Now, Horsham, this was a windfall as well. Horsham Russet's lovely. Look at that striping. It looks like some sort of carnival thing. It's still good. Well, it was better before. It's starting to go watery. But it initially has got a slight pear drop flavour to it, but nothing as much as the Seedling. But Horsham Russet is very good. You want to really pick these in sort of early mid-October. 4 rows done, 3 left. Okay, so I kind of cheated. This is just one of my favourite apples, and it has got, as you can see on this close up, not of my fingers, but looks a lot like my fingers. It's got russeting. So this is Rubinette. This is an excellent apple. This is a kind of a small one. It does unfortunately produce all different sizes of fruits, and the big ones are the best ones, but some of them red up like this and you know they're good. The juice of this apple is just the best thing. Probably terrible for your teeth because it's full of sugar and acidity, but it's gorgeous. That is a gorgeous apple. Okay, moving on. Ardcairn Russet. Lovely shape to it, lovely conical shape. Is it going to be amazing? I think this might have been a windfall as well. You can tell because that doesn't look fresh off the tree. Oh, it's really soft. No, it's too sweet. No, I don't know if it was better before. That one's gone. Sorry, this is Aromatic Russet, so it's a good name. Does it live up to the reputation? Because I'll tell you what, all the russets are quite aromatic in my opinion. It's got a bit of an acidity, but no, unfortunately it's a name. It's a name alone. It doesn't actually have the. It can't back it up. That one, I have to say, tastes like popcorn sweets. This is a great apple. This is Karmijn de Sonnaville. I picked 2 trays of these and put them in the cellar, so that's how much I like this apple. This is extraordinary flavour. That is just the perfect level of sugar and acidity in an apple, and it melts in your mouth like a pear. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. It's so juicy as well. I know that I like the Norfolk Royal Russet. I like this for a different reason. This one is the acidic one that I like. It's got such a lovely flavour to it. So juicy. So the level, everything is perfect about the level of acidity in this apple because it's just. Yep, you should grow Karmijn de Sonnaville, 150%. But we have to move on. This is 4 far. I'm getting a bit sick of apples, but 4 far. Let's see. It's got russet. It hasn't got any on the apex, but no. The skin is very strong. Not enough acidity or sugar in the juice. This is Leathercoat Russet, so it's got a real tough skin to it. Kind of a sort of brutish, manly looking thing. Yeah, acidic. It is what it is. This one is Belfort Cresny. This is a very strange apple. I believe it's probably like some sort of hybrids of some crab apple in Russia with some. It's got rusting in the middle, but it doesn't really have rusting on the apex or the in the cavity here on the basin. We'll see. It's a weird tasting apple. It's awful. It's bitter. Yeah. Margil. Now this has been on the tree somehow forever. It's going to be soft, but it has got rusting. This is the parent of Cox's Orange Pippin, along with Rosemary Russet, which we've got as well. Ooh, it still tastes really good. It tastes like pudding. Tastes like sort of passion fruity cheesecake. I'm not really sure. It's very nice though. That's Margill. Back to one of the proper russets here. This is called Golden Russet, and I think it's the American Golden Russet. Although with the name like that, there's probably about 30 synonyms. Which means that lots of people at some stage name their apple Golden Russet. Again, this is a nice apple. It's not got the acidity. It's a bit like it's got that sort of buttery popcorn flavour to it. I think that candy corn sweet in America you get, which I'm guessing is the same flavour. It's okay. I'm not going to have any more. I'm too full. Darcy Spice. So this apple's supposed to have a bit of spice to it. It's a very small tree, so even if you plant it on a big old rootstock, it doesn't really do anything. It grows very, maybe 2 foot after a year, so we don't really sell big ones. It has got a weird spice to it. I get the name because you expect it to be acidity, but it's not. But it's not particularly pleasant either, in my opinion. No. Oh, one of the absolute dons of the orchard. This is Ashmead's Kernel. I've tried to improve Ashmead's Kernel, which I don't understand who said it was improved. Some numpty. This you can't improve this really. This is almost as good as a Karmijn, but I don't think it's as acidic. Amazing. Yeah, right in the middle. We've got Ashmead's Kernel, Karmijn, Norfolk Royal Russet. Those three are amazing. This one tastes a lot more like pears. So the Ashmead Kernel is almost like the perfect pear flavour to it, and it is crispy. But we have to move on. This is Canadian Reinette, so not fully russeting, but it's got patches. And I knew it was going to be awful. That was awful. Oh. Wow. This is Rosemary Russet. So this is one of the other parents of Cox's Orange Pippin, along with Mr. Margill, or Mrs. Margill. I don't know who was the seed parent and which one was the cheeky pollen parent, but we'll see. Actually, we won't see. I'll just taste this. This has improved a lot since I tried it last. Yeah, it's alright, but nothing remarkable. Just slightly acidic. No strong flavour. Now this one is going to be too ripe. This is the classic russet everyone knows in Britain. This is Egremont Russet. It's just a pure brown russet. It's in a way, a very uniform apple. It always has sometimes you get the yellow coming through, but the flavour is dry but very, very sweet and nutty. It's like marzipan flavour actually, this one. That's very, very nice. I prefer a bit more acidity. Is it as good as Norfolk Royal Russet? No. I mean, it's got a slight marzipan-y elements of some sort of liqueur, maybe whiskey. Suntan. Now this one's not a pure russet either, but you can't say it's not a russet. It's like a late Cox. Very nice. Very nice Cox flavour. That's really good. Really, really good. Okay, quickly moving forward. This is Braddock Nonpareil. Some russet on it. Well, you can tell it's a bit of a greasy apple. Different class of apple, really. This is Sam Young. It's a bit early for Sam Youngs, but this one looked right. They're all very small. This is quite a big Sam Young, actually. Sam's a small apple. Very nice. A bit like a golden note. Really packed full of flavour. This next one is Roxbury Russet. Roxbury Russet. I don't think it's going to be very good. Not a great deal of flavour to that. Not after that Sauvignon. That Sauvignon was really good. I should have spent more time on that. Nope, not too sure about that one. This one is the Nonpareil. So how good is the Nonpareil? How good do we think this will be? Let's see. It's very good. That is really good. Again, a slight pear drops flavour to it. It's acidic. Texture could be better. But that is a very, very, very delicate flavour to it, which, yeah. I'd say if the texture was better, it would be easier to eat. But it's very juicy. It's like pineapple. Yeah. If the texture was better, this apple would be amazing. Keep that flavour, but the skin's quite tough. I prefer these three to it. Sorry, I'm holding the camera wrong. I prefer these three to it, but that's a very good apple. This is the Ross Nonpareil. So this is an Irish apple. It has been ripe a while, so it's soft. A bit disappointing. Who's next? This is Pine Golden Pippin. Again, a interesting sort of pure russet, as it were. Well, a bit of a weak sort of red deliciousy. It doesn't have a flavour of a russet at all. No good. This is Princess. I think the texture of this inside isn't great. I've tried quite a few of these this year because it's such a pretty apple with the red streaks. Ooh, that's a really strong almond flavour. Wow. This is Highview Pippin. Highview Pippin is a small apple, as you can see. There aren't many on the trees, so it might be quite ripe. Yeah, it's very sweet and like pear. It's not bad. It's like pear sweets. Which is quite a common thing about these. I'm not sure about that one. Finally, oh, this is Claygate Pearmain, which, yeah, it's a very good apple. This was off the floor. There aren't any on the tree anymore, really. Let's see. I love this apple. It's not really a russet, but it is a very good apple. How it's gone soft. These are better usually. So, focusing in, what was good? Shenandoah, I love that apple. Orleans Reinette, a beautiful flavour to it, I would say. Some of these ones, Mannington Pearmain, that was autumn pear. Mannington Pearmain was alright. I remember the New Rock Pippin was actually decent as well. Nobby Russet has some elements. Abigail I wasn't too fussed about. Merton Russet is nice and acidic. If you like an acidic russet, that will be good, and it's fairly good flavour to it. And Reinette is the acidic twin, well, acidic cousin of Pitmaston Pineapples. This is a nice early season version. This one gets more acidic later on. You have to leave it till November to pick them, but they are very, very, very good. Svar's a very good late season apple. Herefordshire Russet is fantastic. It's crispy earlier in the season, so throughout September and sort of mid-October you want to pick this one. This is very good. Golden Knob, what an apple, what a flavour to it. Nice little sort of late season apple to have. Well, I don't think any of them were good. They were the new ones, but Nutmeg Pippin was very good. Out of these, Patte the loup was good. I remember that was good. Brownlees Russet is fantastic as well. Norfolk Russet is probably one of the best apples in my opinion. 48, not so much, but 27 and 24 were fantastic apples. Horsham Russet, a bit too late for it, unfortunately. Yes, Rubinette, fantastic apple again. Not so much about these two. Karmijn is, yes, fantastic. Get Karmijn if you can. Nope, none of those. Margil, it's a bit late for it anyway, but it's not really in the right thing. Category, this is Ashmead's Kernel, a fantastic apple again. Egremont Russet, a bit late for it, but it's amazing. Suntan, it's a late season Cops. And moving down here, Sam Young is fantastic apple. The Nonpareil, I think, is a lovely flavour. It could have better texture though. And oh, let's see, were any of these good? Claygate's better earlier in the season, and yes, Pitmaston Pineapple. Okay, I'm gonna stop eating apples, but yeah, thank you very much for watching that. Hopefully, somehow of some use. I'm sure that, you know, if you're interested in russets, this will have been quite interesting. The best thing is to sort of, you know, try and actually find these apples for yourself, or grow them yourself. I'm sure most of these are available apart from the seedlings so far, so good luck finding them, good luck growing them. Tell me if you like any sort of russets, or if there are any russets that I missed out, which I don't have yet, because I do love russets. I think they should be sort of, you know, better known throughout the public, definitely, but that's not up to me. But I'm trying my best. I'm getting out there to you anyway. Okay, great. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.